Ms. Woodfield, when your friend Miss Goskirk contacted you to say she had kidnapped a child, you must have been shocked.
Rona didn't go into detail. I was living in Canada. I just knew she needed me to come home and help her.
So once you got the facts, were you worried for the baby's well-being?
Not at all. Rona's a brilliant mum. I was more worried for Marlon and the kids. I knew they'd be missing her.
Indeed, especially her 12-year-old son Leo, who has additional needs. Being abandoned by his mother would surely cause him great distress.
Marlon's a great dad. He would have managed fine.
But you just said they'd be missing her. Would you say Miss Goskirk was being selfish, disregarding the well-being of her other children?
I could see it was complicated. Rona was being guided by her heart.
Would you agree, Rona's a woman who likes to get what she wants?
Rona's driven, but she's fair and compassionate. When I saw her with Ivy, I could see that she wanted to care for her, and I understood why. Ivy shares Rona's DNA. She's a part of her.
So you supported her bid to illegally gain access?
Like I said, it was complicated.
I'd suggest you knew what Miss Goskirk was doing was selfish, immoral, and illegal. And that's why you told her husband where she was hiding out.
I was worried she wasn't thinking straight.
Because you knew Miss Goskirk kidnapping the child was wrong.
I didn't see it as kidnap. I saw it as an act of desperation.
Please answer the question. Did you say in your police witness statement that Miss Goskirk kidnapping the child was wrong?
Yes. I knew the longer it went on, the worse it would be.
Because little Ivy wasn't hers?
Legally, apparently not.
Ms. Woodfield, how long have you known Ms. Goskirk?
30 years-ish, since uni.
I'm guessing her life must be quite stressful at times. Child with additional needs, high-pressure job. Her husband is, 2 years post-stroke.
She has a lot on, but she copes brilliantly.
And never seems to crack under pressure.
We all like a glass of wine and a rant occasionally.
But never requires a stronger crutch.
I'm sorry, what? I don't understand the question.
Rona was addicted to prescription drugs, is that correct?
This is ridiculous!
Your Honour, I fail to see how that is relevant.
A bad character application was made by the prosecution. I've seen it, I'll allow it.
Is it possible Miss Goskirk was using prescription drugs again when she took Ivy?
No.
Could explain why she was acting erratically, unpredictable. Is that why you notified her husband?
Absolutely not. Rona's not an addict. She hasn't been for years. She was driven by love. End of.
No further questions.
The court will break for lunch. All rise.
Oh, I tried, Mary. That prosecutor's a pompous, sarcastic. I've let her down.
Yeah, to tell the truth, they twist everything.
I swear by Almighty God that the evidence I shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Mr. Dingle, I understand that you only discovered that Mr. Malcolms had stolen your wife's embryos by chance. Is that correct?
Yeah. I was at the hospital having an appointment, and I saw Gus and Lucy, and as soon as I saw her, the pregnant bump, I just knew.
How?
Gus, he'd loaded so much guilt onto Rona about how they couldn't have a family. I mean, he completely leaned on her to sign him over.
But you didn't want her to.
Rona's this totally amazing tiger mum. And I knew that she couldn't live a life knowing that her own baby was out there being raised without her. So yeah, I told her not to do it.
And was she upset?
At first, but then she realised it was the right decision to have the embryos disposed of.
So, when you realised that Gus had gone ahead through deception, what impact did that have?
I didn't know how to tell Rona at first. I was in shock. I knew it would change our lives completely.
Was Gus remorseful for what he'd done?
No, never, never. He's always blindly denied any wrong. What he did has affected every inch of our family's life, of our kids' life. The pain, the confusion, the betrayal, and at the heart of it all, this lovely, innocent little girl.
Who you and your family obviously care for.
A lot, yeah. A lot. Gus couldn't cope, so he abandoned her. He just got in his car and he drove away. Ivy was left with us for ages. I got attached, the kids got attached. Days on end, Gus was nowhere to be seen.
Were you angry when your wife absconded with Ivy?
I was just, I was desperately sad. Because what he has done to Rona is cruel. He stole the embryos. He called the police. And now she sat there. The wrong person's on trial.
You might have just won them back round, love.
So I take it this morning didn't go well.
Gus and his lynch mob are all cut from the same Weasley cloth. The whole thing stinks.
Come on, Poppet. You can do this.
I swear by Almighty God that the evidence I shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Miss Goskirk, you are here charged with kidnap, but yet I think the one unanswered question is why? Why did you feel it necessary to take this child?
Fear, I guess. Fear that Gus might not be well enough to take care of Ivy properly. Fear that, even as her biological mother, I was going to lose her for good.
Would you say it was out of character for you to do this?
Yes, yeah. I mean, the months leading up to it were... I can't even begin to describe how violated I felt. What Gus did, he took a part of me without asking. He went against my wishes. He's changed my life forever. And the only redeeming thing in all of this is Ivy.
Despite Ivy's, dare I say from your view, unwanted introduction to the world, you had maternal feelings for her.
Absolutely. Yeah, and my natural instinct, especially when I found out that Gus wasn't coping, was to protect her.
Did you ever feel that Ivy was at risk with Gus?
Yes. Gus was grieving, chaotic, no routine. Ivy's nappy rash was so bad, she was bleeding. So whatever Gus claims, he abandoned her and he begged me to step in. Then he showed up weeks later saying he wanted to move abroad with her. I was worried that it was going to be damaging for Ivy, unsettling, you know? I was all she had known, and Gus was more like a stranger.
Miss Goskirk, how did you react when you discovered my client's wife was pregnant?
I was shocked, upset.
My client claims your reaction added to the complications that led to his wife's death.
I was genuinely devastated when I found out that Lucy had died. No one wants any child to grow up without their mother.
Except for you, it was kind of the perfect solution.
No, it wasn't. Whatever had happened, I would never wish anyone dead.
Did you feel any guilt, knowing that you just rowed with Mrs. Malcolms shortly before she went into premature labor?
Yeah. Yes, I felt terrible. And the only thing that eased that guilt was when the post-mortem revealed an underlying health condition which made Lucy hemorrhage. It was nothing to do with our disagreement.
If Mrs. Malcolms had survived, do you think you would still doggedly pursue the right to be in Ivy's life?
Yeah, totally.
So you don't deny you would have still kidnapped Ivy even if her birth mother had been around?
No, I never said that.
So what are you saying? That a father's love is less important than a mother's? That a father can't do the job of raising a child as well?
No.
I'd suggest otherwise. I think you took the baby because you thought you could do a better job of raising her. I think you were arrogant.
I'll tell you who's flipping arrogant.
Well, if me wanting to play a part in my own child's life makes me arrogant, then yes, I am. And for the record, regardless of the outcome here, I intend to fight for legal parental rights for my child.
I'd suggest you took Mr. Malcolm's baby and hid her from everyone else because you knew what you were doing was wrong. You knew you were breaking the law because legally you have no rights to that child whatsoever.
Then I would question the rule of law on this.
Calm down, Poppet.
But that's not what you're here to do.
No, I'm here to try and stop you sending me to prison when I am clearly the victim. The law is an ass, quite frankly.
Oh, great.
Go on, Rana.
Miss Goskirk?
I'm sorry, but he stole from me. He allowed another woman to give birth to my child without me having a say or a right to argue. And now when I want to have an opinion about how that child, my child, is raised, I am accused of abduction and kidnap. It's insanity. Ivy is my child in every way that matters, and you have to believe that I only took her because I love her. Because she is my daughter.
I think the defendant needs time to reflect and compose herself. Court will adjourn until tomorrow.
All rise.